All right, man, peace. You know, brothers, it's human nature that our minds work associatively. So when we first see someone that we've never seen before, the first thing that we try to do to understand them is to equate them or compare them to someone else that we've known in our life. We might say, oh, you look like this person, normally a celebrity or a family member or someone from our past. A certain female you might be attracted to because she looks like your favorite celebrity, or maybe she favors a girl that you dealt with in the past that you still wish that you were with. That happens in sports also. Whenever there's a prominent athlete about to emerge on the professional scene, we say that this person reminds us of someone else. Ray Leonard got so many comparisons to Muhammad Ali when he first came to the forefront. Floyd Mayweather got comparisons to Ray Leonard and Pernell Whitaker. In basketball, you have Kobe or Grant Hill being compared to Michael Jordan. Now, in the almost post-LeBron James era, Zion Williamson is starting to receive a lot of comparisons to him. Do I see that? No, I do not. I see a combination of many extremely gifted power forwards who could do a myriad of things on the basketball court. So I think that the future is very bright for Zion as long as he does not suffer any catastrophic injuries and he does not make any terrible decisions. So, of course, they're going to talk about it. I'm going to chime in.
I love this game. I love my teammates. And some people who thought I wasn't going to return, they weren't smart. I love playing with Duke. I love my teammates, and it was great to be back.
Well, brother, I'll say this. I think that you made the best decision for you, which is what you should always do. I believe that you're setting a very good precedent for yourself and showing loyalty to your teammates. I think that that's going to translate very well into the NBA. There are many veterans who wanted to see what you were going to do, whether or not you were going to listen to the internet mavens and the TV pundits and decide to sit out. And that would probably have been considered the first black mark on your resume, especially now with so many prominent NBA players sitting out due to load management. There would have been GMs and even your teammates in the NBA who would have wondered, are you going to be one of those guys who gets a hangnail and sits out 10 games? So from that perspective, you made the right decision. To me, you should have sat out for the rest of the season. I would have had your ass sit out from when you hit the back of your head on the backboard and you almost caved in your knee when you landed. But hopefully it works out for you.
He can do things that nobody has done in this game. I mean, Charles, like I've said, it was close, but this guy's bigger, stronger, and
has a better attitude.
I mean, he's crazy, different type of player. There's not guys like him.
Yeah, he could jump out the gym. Now, Chuck, back in his day, a lot of people might not know this. Charles Barkley was in a slam dunk contest in his rookie year. Charles could jump out the gym, too. He had a 40-plus inch vertical leap. The thing with Chuck was that he was only about 6'4 and a half, 6'5". But Chuck could jump straight out the gym. He could dribble, he could pass, he could do everything. The problem with him was that he was never on a good team long enough to be able to reap the benefits. When he first was drafted by Philadelphia, they were coming off of being in championship contention. And as a matter of fact, I think that in his rookie year, they went to the Eastern Conference Finals. That was the team that had Dr. J and Moses Malone, Andrew Toney, Maurice Cheeks. So he was able to come in on the tail end of that winning culture. The problem is that when the leadership transferred over to him, he was not built to be a leader. But because his personality was so vivacious, he was able to trick people into believing that he could be a leader for that team. And when the pressure got to be too much, he forced the trade to Phoenix.
Now let's get you back to First Take.
Welcome back into First Take. We're coming to you live from above the river deck at Pier 17, brought to you by Chase. So Zion was perfect last night in his return to the Blue Devils. 29 points, 14 rebounds, and 5 steals.
Well, he missed a lot of free throws, so you can't say that he was perfect.
And many compare Zion to LeBron James. So, Stephen A., do you think those comparisons are unfair?
I don't think they were unfair because I think when you look at Zion, what you're thinking about the physical freak of nature that he is, and you're thinking about the physical freak of nature that LeBron is. But I will say this. I don't view him that way.
Yeah, the comparison is not unfair. It's just not apropos. The apropos comparison for Zion, he falls into that archetype of Barkley, Sean Kemp, Blake Griffin. He falls into that category. He does not fall into the LeBron James category unless he has components to his basketball game that I have not seen.
in terms of his basketball skills, I don't view him that way. I don't think there's a comparison there at all. I think he's athletic. He's a high riser. We get all of that. But I think more about Blake Griffin. I think more about the Blake Griffin type, a physical freak who's a skywalker, can dunk on anybody, is made for the highlight reels. But basketball skill-wise, Max, I don't get that from him.
The real question for Zion will be, is he going to be as concerned with expanding his game, especially to conform to what's expected of him in the NBA to lead his team to a potential championship, as he is with the highlights? Because, of course, in his first season, he's going to enter the slam dunk contest. He's going to get a lot of coverage on TNT and on ESPN. But will he show that he wants to add to his game, add to his repertoire so that he can assist his team in his second, third, fourth, and fifth seasons? That's what we're going to have to watch for, is the growth.
I really don't.
Yeah, I've been comparing to Blake Griffin from the beginning, like a souped-up Blake Griffin, because Blake was, people forget now, but he was just otherworldly talented.
Yes, he was a sensation his first couple years.
Talented. Like the physical, the athletic ability was amazing. But the question was, can that body type, not like the lean, long-armed, two-way wing, can that, and neither the 7-foot shot-blocking center, right? Nor the outside shooting point guard. Can that Blake Griffin body type ever quite reach MVP level? And the answer for Blake is no. He's the next thing down.
Well, Blake's issue is that it's taken him a very long time to push his game out beyond the three-point line. That's why I state with Zion, Zion's going to have to watch for that himself, and hopefully for him, he'll add that three-point shot earlier in his career than Blake did. Because early this season, Blake was getting some consideration for possible MVP through like the first month and a half of the season. And that was because he's shown that he had stretched his game out past the three-point line.
And so the question is, can Zion? What if you souped that up a little more and you made it a better defensive player and some physical characteristics a little different than Blake? Like, he looks more long-armed, like defender-y kind of guy. Can that be an MVP level player? And with Zion, the jury is out. So I understand why you say not LeBron. But just as Kobe, even though he was drafted lower down because straight out of high school, back before that was, in vogue, was compared to Jordan. That's an unfair comparison, right? Kobe almost got there. Just as LeBron was compared to like a hybrid Jordan Magic thing.
That's true, but the real comp for LeBron is Oscar Robertson.
Unfair, right? Who could live up to that?
As far as his style of play. As far as his style of play, the comp for LeBron is Oscar.
LeBron, he kind of got there. Similarly, Zion, because of what you mentioned, because of the physical freakishness and what people recognize as a team-oriented game, not just a very aggressive spirit, but a team-oriented kind of mentality, we are going to naturally compare him to the last guy that made us go, oh my God!
Agreed.
And that was LeBron on this level. The last guy that gave us that feeling was LeBron, and so he's going to be compared to him.
So I think that's why we should be comparing the two. Comparisons don't have to be literal. Analogies aren't literal. Trust me, I've experienced this in the last couple of days. But analogies, you're pointing out Zion's game is different than LeBron's. But as far as a generational talent, a guy who changes a franchise, a guy who can shoulder a championship team, you put Blake on one level, you put LeBron on another. Do you think Zion is the biggest generational talent we've seen since Zion?
Well, let me retort.
You mean since LeBron? And to answer that, I'll probably say yes. If you're going to construct the statement or construct your argument that way, that the reason why you would like to compare Zion to LeBron is that you believe that they're both transformative players and not just ethereal level physical athletic freaks, then yeah, okay, I could see that. But just going on what's expected of them when it comes to on the court, I wouldn't compare LeBron to Zion. No.
Let me respond with a question.
Right.
Did y'all consider Barkley that guy?
A generational
Charles
talent?
Barkley.
No, but Charles Barkley did not emerge from college being ballyhooed in the same way as Zion Williamson. I understand what you're doing there, Stephen A. Smith. You're saying that Zion Williamson is going to follow the player archetype of a Charles Barkley. And if you did not consider Charles Barkley to be a transformative player, then why should you consider Zion? I get that. But we also have to take into account that Charles Barkley came into a far different NBA than Zion Williamson. Charles Barkley came into an NBA that had never seen him before. So not much was expected of him. I mean, we're talking about a 6'4.5", 6'5" power forward. That just did not happen back in the day, especially one who could jump out the gym like him. That's why he fell so much in the draft. But there were already established superstars in the league at that time. Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Kareem, Dr. J, Moses Malone were already in the league. And in that draft also emerged Michael Jordan, Hakeem Olajuwon, and John Stockton. So no, there was no need for Charles Barkley to be that ballyhoo because he'd never been seen before. Zion is able to reap the benefits of what Charles Barkley and Shawn Kemp and Blake Griffin laid out. So once again, the question is, will he be able to take what they established to the next level?
Franchise-changing generational talent. Charles,
no, I would say
when he
Barkley's
came out,
career turned out to be that's the next thing to it.
No, what I'm saying is, as you reflect on Charles Barkley's career,
he was.
Do you view him as a transcendent talent and a franchise-changing, franchise-altering talent, or just a superstar basketball player?
Well, it depends on what your definition for both those terms is. If you're talking about transformative, meaning this player is going to lead you to multiple championships, then no. But if by the term superstar you mean a player who's going to make sure that your team is always in contention to win a chip, then yes. Yes, Barkley was able to prove that when he got to Phoenix.
What I'm saying to you is when I think about Zion, that's what I see.
Barkley?
I don't see LeBron. I see Barkley.
I understand that.
I see Barkley.
I would say this.
Wait. So you say, what do you answer your own question, please? How did you see Barkley? As a transcendent superstar player?
I looked at Barkley as a superstar player.
Stephen A. Smith sometimes in a very clunky way, he uses the term superstar without establishing context or creating a separation. That's why Will Kane is confused, because Stephen A. Smith calls everybody a superstar. And I would also call Charles Barkley a superstar. For that era, he was a superstar because the top level players were so transcendent. Unless you were a Larry Bird, a Magic Johnson, a Michael Jordan, or an Hakeem Olajuwon, you were not going to win. Or an Isaiah Thomas, you were not going to win. But Charles Barkley, if he played today, he'd certainly be in contention for being considered the best player in the NBA. And he was even in that era, because many people thought that Charles should have won the MVP award in 1990, not just 1993.
In other words, when you talk about transcendent, the fact that he was the round mound of rebounds, 6'4", and could dribble the ball, the way that he could dribble the ball, that he could lead a break, that he could be a one-man break, and he could do things on that level, fine. But he wasn't Magic. He wasn't Jordan. That I don't look at Zion like that. I look at Zion like Barkley.
You're saying that Zion can be a transformational figure for a franchise, but he will not be a perennial MVP. Maybe he...
No, what he's saying is that Zion is going to be box office. He's going to be a player that people are going to love to watch. He's going to have outstanding highlights, but he's not a person who's going to come onto a franchise and 15 years from now we're going to be considering him a top 10 all-time great player. That's what he's saying.
He wins an MVP at some point.
He could be a perennial MVP, but you can't be...
Well, Barkley wasn't a perennial MVP. Jordan was...
You mean a perennial all-star and in contention for MVPs?
No, I'm talking perennial
LeBron was... Right. I'll say
this.
this. We should be careful about one thing. And the way the human mind works, and for good reason. We want the next guy to look like the last guy.
Completely agree.
We start to look like for comps. Did Steph look like an NBA championship engine out of college?
Absolutely not. As a matter of fact, Steph Curry, I thought he was going to be an average NBA player. So I always say this. He completely shocked me that he was that great or that he's been that great.
No, because no one had ever looked like that in the modern NBA. A 6'3", three-point shooting point guard who's not very good defensively. Can you build a championship around that? No, it didn't work, right? Like they tried it with Steve Nash. It didn't work. And until it worked with Steph. So the question with Zion is, can he be what Barkley wasn't quite, what Blake really didn't get to? Can he be the next level of that thing?
Agreed.
The jury is out on that, but if I'm a franchise, obviously I'm spending the number one pick to find out.
Oh, you definitely have to draft him because if nothing else, he's shown that he knows how to play within a team framework.
This is a clear bet.
Without question.
With all due respect, so what I hear you saying is this. There are levels to this.
That's right.
And
as I often
the
say,
levels would look like, gathering what both of you are saying, the levels would look like this. Blake, Barkley, perhaps Zion, LeBron.
That's right.
Those kind of levels.
That's right.
And you feel like
That's
Zion's in the potential Barkley level.
Yes.
Well, but Zion belongs to a couple different groups. He also belongs to the LeBron, Shaq, Wilt group, which is physically, that dude is different at that size from everyone else.
I would agree with that.
But you also have to remember, it's going to be real interesting to see the kind of effect that he has on the NBA.
And isn't it interesting that Max Kellerman stated that Zion Williamson fits into the LeBron, Shaq, Wilt group? And I've been telling you, brothers, for the longest time that that is a group. I consider that group to be the players who were just so physically dominant over their peers and yet would underwhelm in big moments, unfortunately for them. But they definitely have their own archetype.
Because of how the NBA has basically finessed the game of basketball and taken some of the physicality out of it. 1 minute he's dropping 30, the next minute he's in foul trouble in 2 minutes because of the way they call the game. It's going to be real interesting to see what they let go with Zion on the court.
Another group that Zion might belong to is a group of two with the Greek Freak. Can you take it hard? Can you build a championship contender around a guy who's just going to take it hard to the rack?
But
I think that the Greek Freak has a better body for the NBA over the long term, though, than Zion. Because with that explosiveness, weighing 280, jumping out the gym like that, I don't think that it's going to bode well for his joints down the line. But we'll see.
Duke, he goes around you and over you.
Yeah, how much wiggle does Zion
goes
have in his
through
game? We'll see. All right, let's keep moving.
But anyway, that's basically it on that. We'll see what happens or what the future holds for Mr. Zion Williamson. Hopefully all the best.